Seven Club Curling. I'm your host, Joe Widmer. This is episode 5. Today we are going to Bemidji. I've got a great match, classic tale of red versus yellow. I've also got a great guest. This is somebody who his name has been mentioned on this podcast, and I was lucky enough to get him in here. So he'll be out in just a moment. With this game, we are jumping in the fourth end. We've got red 6, yellow 2, and looks pretty daunting. This might be our first blowout ever here on Channel 7 Club Curling, but let's get you up to speed with a quick recap here. This is how we got to this point. This is where red got it started. Big end. I like this shot. Yellow keeps their hopes alive here with the just close to. And then here's the straight fire from the old man with the stick. You love to see this. It's on track. Sweepers never touch it. It's almost like he's done this before. There gets 2 more. And that's where we're at. All right, so my guest this week is Brian Baker. But you don't know him as Brian Baker. You know him as Curl Hand Luke. How you do? Do I call you Brian or do I call you Luke?
You can call me whatever you want, but Brian's probably more authentic.
I think when my friend Rebecca, who recommended we talk, when she told me that your name wasn't actually Luke, I was like, oh, I bet you he regrets that now that he's huge.
I still enjoy the pun. I have no regrets about it, but it always kind of shocks or disappoints people a little bit.
Yeah, I was in that camp. I was like, oh, his name is Brian. Okay, couldn't come up with a cool
sorry.
Brian pun. But thanks,
No.
man. So tell everybody where you're from. I know I've been on the receiving end of people from your club, but I love the vibe. Tell me about Austin.
Yeah, I'm down here in Austin, Texas. Play out of the Lone Star Curling Club. Have you met my people on the 5U circuit, or where have you seen them?
So 2 or 3 teams came up to the big spiel, and one of them dismantled us quite handily, and they were just super great, just great energy. Just I hope they come back. That was super fun.
That's good. I mean, I am glad they dismantled you, but I'm also sorry about that.
People that actually, the 7 people that actually watch this podcast are like, does this guy ever win? Yeah, we do win sometimes. But
I can relate to that. It's how my live streams feel. We've had a bit of a losing streak on some nights, so it's okay.
yeah, it doesn't represent the collective work that you've put together. Yeah, so your big thing is it? Would I say TikTok? I mean, you're on all social media channels, but TikTok seems to be the thing that you're made for, just in terms of like bite-sized clips and stuff like that. Is that kind of your preferred mode?
That's where it all began. Just kind of
Mm-hmm.
blew up there during the Olympics, and kind of now moving off it a little bit, trying to get more on Instagram and YouTube.
Oh, okay.
See how that
Why is
goes.
that? Is
Yeah.
it just I mean, there's certain things about TikTok that just are kind of clunky, but tell me about why you want to move off to other channels.
Well, so TikTok used to love us. We used to get anywhere from like 15,000 to 170,000 views in a 2-hour live stream.
Wow.
And I know, it was awesome. And then in the last year, it's just gone down to like nobody, like 15 people in the chat and 1,000 views. So
Interesting.
I just stopped trying to fight it, gave up.
Cool. So switching to YouTube, is that more of a like a live stream, just like
Yes.
kind of the same thing, but maybe a little different? What are you using to? Sometimes you post this on your channel, but how do you logistically film these games? It's sort of it looks like it's kind of tricky.
Well, so the whole goal is to make it simple and quick, especially being on hockey ice, because you got to set up and tear it down fast, right? So it is just my cell phone on a tripod, but I do have
Nice.
some Rode wireless go-to microphones plugged in, and those are more on the expensive side, but they're fun.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. That's awesome. That's kind of where we're hoping to go with we have some DJI just kind of whatever's and we
Mhm.
did a test run with them. They work great. But just being able to
Yeah,
sync up what we get from like curling stadium and just having a couple mics on the skips, I think is going to be just a good first step. We got those for like $180 and they that you put a Bluetooth transponder on an iPhone and then
yep,
somebody can be 180 feet away and it's still working great.
it still
So
works just fine. And that's
yeah,
the
it's
magic. I think that silent curling is not as fun, and commentators are good, but clubs can't get that. So you got to have some kind of audio to get people to watch the stream, right?
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's kind of the idea. This will probably be the season finale of season 1 for Channel 7
Okay.
just because our curling season has ended. We're in Minnesota. We can taste
Hmm.
spring in the air. It's just sort of because these podcasts are becoming less and less frequent. But
Yeah.
the only thing I would reserve is that maybe if I can, because there's so many like kind of last minute bonspiels and stuff. If maybe stream a game, have it be less of a podcast and more just like actually commentate on a game. So if
Yeah.
people don't if I say this is the season finale, it's for this podcast format. There might be some stuff here in the late spring for commentating on a game or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
I understand the Minnesotans. Sorry, Minnesotans want to go outside. Texans will gladly play curling in the summer because it's 110 degrees, right?
yeah, no, that
Yeah.
your friends from Lone Star actually we had this conversation and it was yeah, in the summer we can't wait to get inside the arena and and we're just like I tried curling in the summer here. We have Four Seasons Curling Club and we're happy that they offer that because I do like to practice every now and then, but it's it's just not the time to be inside. We've been cooped up all year.
Yeah. No, get out there. Game
Yeah.
golf.
Tell me about Lone Star. Is it do you guys do you guys have to share it? Like you guys got to clear it off and get it ready for hockey afterwards?
Yeah, so like on Tuesday nights, for example, the Zamboni finishes late usually. And it's done like 7:20, and we hurry and drop the hacks and pull the rocks out and try to get going by like 7:30 or so. Yeah, just quick, quick, quick.
I'm with you, brother. I'm also a member of the St. Croix Curling Club and we that's an arena league that we share at a hockey arena and all that. Yep, that's the protocol.
I think I've seen them on Instagram. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's we're probably like you. We have ambitions for getting dedicated ice. How are you guys doing on that?
Well, we've been working on it actually. We've had a dedicated ice committee that's made some really great contacts, and now it's kind of like we got some interest in maybe doing it, but where's the money at? So now we're
Money. Yeah.
circling back to the maybe capital campaign or something here pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what most clubs kind of go through. We're going to have it'll have to be next season out at where did the mixed doubles just happen out in Michigan, the Center City or not Center City?
Traverse City, or however you say
Traverse
it, Traverse. I'm not sure.
Traverse City,
Something like
yeah.
that.
Don Peace, I hope I'm saying his name right. He helped bring that club from what we're, an arena league like we are into dedicated ice. And then
Yep.
they handled it well. They put together a great club. I talked to Kimberly Rhymes, was teaching my son's junior program last week, and she was just raving about it. Put together a great club, and then they also had the foresight to get USA Curling to bring an event there and everything, which kind of showcased it. So
Brings in
Don's
the
gonna
money and
be
the
our
attention. Yeah.
yeah, Dan's gonna be a guest on here, and one of the things we'll talk about is kind of what both of us are experiencing in terms of how to get this new club. Do you see what's going on here?
I was just gonna say, did we just have a broom drop right there?
I think we had not one but two. These people are they are curling fanatics. We curl our ice maker curls at the same time as us, so we generally don't tend to follow that protocol because you know,
Oh,
he
does
makes
the ice maker get mad about it? Little broom?
shout out to Darren. I don't think he does. I think he's pretty chill, but especially because but it's one of those things that we just don't.
Wait, so
Maybe
your ice maker's name is Darren?
yeah,
So is ours. I,
it's a thing. It's a
how does
vibe.
he spell it? Is it with an E? 2 R's.
I mean, Darren and I are close, but we're not that close. I don't know. he's
Our
not
Darren spell.
he's not Dareen.
Well, ours is. Ours is Darin. So
It's definitely not that.
okay,
That would
okay.
that would
Yeah,
strike me as
that's
odd.
different.
So you have an ice maker. Is that okay? We're gonna go into arena fundamentals for a second here.
Okay.
Does he actually Zamboni for you guys, and you have him do it in your special way?
No, so we have a guy at the hockey club does a Zamboni. I actually asked him if I could ride the Zamboni. He said I had to be certified and that only one person could be on the Zamboni at once. So we were never going to make a viral TikTok that I wanted to make, which is too bad. But
Yeah,
no, after the Zamboni, Darren comes out, he pebbles, or he, during bond spills, he scrapes. And before bond spills, he's kind of in charge of leveling it out, flooding.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So
important step. We actually don't do that at St. Croix, and it's kind of like you said. The volunteer load is already so high. I don't know if we have the
hard.
capacity to it, but it's important for making the ice great.
It is, and there's a whole art to it. We've had trouble with like building up the edges, and the floor on the hockey rink isn't level, so like it dishes.
Okay.
So the ice in the middle is like an inch thicker than the ice on the edges. All that stuff.
Yeah.
All that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So, up in the Twin Cities, Minnesota, Wisconsin, curling's, we're kind of blessed with an abundance of riches. This Bemidji club I've never been to. It's kind of like everything else. Like they do travel down here quite a bit. I've played with them a lot. Um, when are you coming up here to coming into Mecca and doing your trip up here and gonna come check all this out?
I would love to. I've been up there when I first started in 2018. We had some competitive people all started together, and we went to the big spiel with less than 1 year experience and just lost and
Nice.
lost and lost.
Nice. I probably
But
crossed paths with you at some point. I was probably
yeah,
You and I were probably in that losing bracket all together.
probably. I did a couple 5Us in Denver and Phoenix in 2019, and then the kids came. So after the kids and COVID,
Yeah.
kind of stopped traveling for that time, and I'm now out of 5U, so done.
Well, I hate to break it to the audience, but this game is probably over unless Yellow does something spectacular here. Oh my God, they're back in it. You
That's a
gotta,
fun coincidence.
you gotta love that shot though. That's a bounce back, skipper stone right there. Um, yeah. So I
Is it
mean,
four?
the fundamentals are sound up here. I mean, everybody,
Oh yeah.
everybody's kind of like take it like the clubs like Bemidji and say, oh wait, what's he saying? It's hey a broom stack. What? He's
Oh,
on
do they actually
board.
stop the game and do a broom stack here?
They do.
Oh, oh. Well, I'm into this then. Let's see this. What is the fifth end drink?
Well, we're that's going to be left to the imagination. I'm imagining it's some sort of light beer,
Okay.
but I do like this because it uh, shows people the fundamentals of a solid broom stack.
I've actually never seen people stack the brooms for real. I know that that is a thing, but we don't actually stack the brooms.
I've been
Just
curling
in
and
your
like
head.
all of a sudden looked over like two sheets and just seen like a broom stack had formed, and
That
there
is
you go.
impressive.
I think a curling purist would ding them for the hat. I don't know
They
that for a
gotta.
fact. I don't know that for a fact. Um, but the hat seems like it's sort of doing some serious lifting here.
They gotta
But
hang it
so
somewhere, right?
we do have a little bit of time here, so let's get people up to speed on when they find Curlhand Luke on TikTok and soon to be or on all the other.
We're curlers in Austin. Of course we rack our rocks before and after the game.
We're curlers in Austin. Of course we stuff our pockets with high shoes.
We're curlers in Austin. Of course we take shots before the game.
We're curlers in Austin. Of course we stand on our hacks to hold them in place while they freeze.
We're curlers in Austin. Of course, I'm going to fill the square jar by the end of the first in.
We're curlers in Austin. Of course we're beating everybody with our data ins.
Gotta get around that guy.
Old unrefrigerated pie.
Well, I think the coach is
Long ways to drive.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. I didn't do fucking shit.
I love you pulled that clip of President falling. That is a classic.
Oh, that's your president?
Yeah. She has the nickname now, El Presidente. It's
Oh,
stuck.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, so after that, that broom sack was actually close to 15 minutes. I sped all that up.
I was wondering about the progress bar, if that was part of their live stream or not.
No, that was a proper broom sack though. As soon as I at some point people send me the games that I should feature, good games. I still go through and I'll open up like 30 tabs. There goes a scraper. It's like tumbleweed going by in Bemidji. But I'll open up 30 tabs and I'll just click and see if any of them are good. And sometimes I just click ahead like an hour into a game and I saw a broom. I just saw the broom sack sitting there and I was like, pause, go back, let's investigate this game and see if it's worth it. And I was just like, we've got everything. We've got a 6-point lead. We've got Yellow's 4 is not even up on the board yet, but we've got a game that's bouncing back. And I was like, these guys are purists. We've got to feature this Bemidji group right here.
Okay. Do you know any of these guys in real life?
No,
No. All right.
Minnesota's like Texas in the sense that we're more vertical. We're big though. Bemidji's hours away. It's not exactly like on the way to anything. So, but the Bonspiel circuit is really big. I've got friends up in Duluth right now, and it's just a matter of time before I get there. But after I saw an honest to God broom stack in the wild, they're on my list. They're on my bucket list.
At the Big Spiel, someone offered us fifth end shots. There was no stacking of brooms. It was like, do you want a fifth end shot? So there was that much.
Yeah, the fifth, as it is now in this game we're watching, the fifth is a very important end. How much, speaking of strategy, I didn't even get to before we talk strategy. I thought that broom stack would last longer. We got to talk about this. I know that's not you in the photo, but is that you taking the photo?
That is me taking the photo. Yes. And she turned because I was like, I'm going to get a picture of her signing your jacket. So she posed, which was awesome.
She's awesome. She
is awesome.
She's my favorite. And I love that she's got.
Nice.
I love that she's got a cocktail like in the middle of the Scotties. She's she's hanging out.
This was when she got kicked out. This was the end for her.
Oh, okay.
Well,
she is a high performer. Yeah. And then
rumor has it she shut down the bar that night. She was there till 1 a.m.
God, I knew that about her.
Yeah.
Now, as we shift from the little devil female curler on our shoulder, now we can go to the angel on our other shoulder.
Oh, yes.
There's Emma.
Finally, at the very end, I got to meet Emma, which was kind of cool because I had contact with her and did like an online dual shared live TikTok live with her.
Oh, cool.
So yeah,
you guys do represent. She in terms of social media, she is not just Canadian, but she is like the worldwide curler that does it right. She is completely on top of that game, and all of the Rachel Homan stuff is Team Homan is like must see TV.
Oh yeah, their social media presence is top notch, and they have like products now.
I think they were. I think their coach got their alternate got like. As people have to find it. She got like pepper in her eye, and they were dousing her eye in a hot tub or in a bathtub, and I was like,
I saw that earlier. Yeah,
I was like, yeah, this is actually the stuff that we want. We want this content.
Yep.
So
it's nice to have like personal content. It's from the teams, not just like the clips from TSN or whatever.
Yeah, we just love them so much. I mean, it's such a cool sport because especially the way TSN and USA Curling's doing this now too. Ty George is the man, and he adds he adds kind of this personal. He knows these people so well, and he's so personable on the air. But TSN's always kind of had that formula that we get to know them. Like we get to know them, and we just think the world of them, and it's so cool to actually see like what they're like in real life. So Yeah, tell me about the Scotties up in Regina.
Calgary.
Isn't Regina in Calgary?
Wait, what?
Isn't the city
Hold on.
Regina?
No, isn't Regina where they had the Briar?
Oh, maybe I just wanted to say
Yeah.
Regina on air.
It's fine. I'm not an expert on Canadian geography. I definitely had to Google where stuff was.
I'm glad I didn't. I was gonna find the. I'm glad I didn't waste the time to do this. Vic Router, who we'll bring up your claim to fame in a second here. Vic Router had a thing during the Briar. There's a straight line of guards, and he called it the Great Wall of Regina, and I was like, oh, that's great. So tell people about your little sign
Legend.
heard around the world, your Vic Router sign.
Well, that one took off, didn't it? I like puns with the curl hand Luke stuff. Cool
Yeah.
hand Luke, but I was just trying to think of funny signs, and I didn't have that many great ideas. And then the memes from the corrupt mind from social media kicks in, and like
Yeah.
I was like, what can I do? Like Russ, Joanne, Vic, Vic. Okay, big Vic energy. There we
Big
go.
Vic energy.
And he's a funny guy, and he's chill. He'll probably show it. So I just made the sign. Big
That was
Vic
awesome.
energy. Held it up. Finally got on TV.
That's awesome. That's sweet.
Yeah.
I was a little worried when the Scotty started, and Vic was out for a hot minute there, and there was so
Yes.
much stuff with people being disqualified and stuff, and I was like, did Vic get disqualified?
Well, I was nervous too because he had throat issues like a year or so prior to it. He wasn't talking a whole lot on the cast there. Yeah.
Cool. So how? Okay, so forget Regina. You're dead to us. Tell me about
Yes.
Calgary.
Calgary was cool. Little city in the mountains. Got the Olympic Park up there where the Scotties were held. Weather was nice. Chill little
So,
city.
uh, Thunder Bay, which is in northern
Canberra.
Ontario, is they were supposed to host, but got rescheduled because of COVID, and so the Minnesota contingent's going to go up to Thunder Bay next year. It looked like you were. Did you do like the whole 10-day package or something? You were kind of all in.
That would be a lot. No. We just did championship weekend, Friday through Sunday. Got in
Okay.
Thursday night, but we learned a lesson. Pool play is probably even more fun because that's when all the teams are there, and that second week is pretty wild. So I think next time I would go for like at least Wednesday, Thursday at pool play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I
There's
highly recommend that.
a lot on the line too. The Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, there's some good games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at because that's where our group is at right now. Do we want to go early? Do we want to go? And obviously, if you go early, you could see 3 games a day and sit wherever you want. But then
Right.
I saw your video where Jennifer Jones was retiring at the end of the championship there and stuff like that. It seems
Yeah.
like you had great spots. No regrets though
That was
going for the championship weekend.
Well, not because of what happened. I mean, because Jennifer Jones did retire, it was like, you know what? A few less teams and less people to meet, but you see Jennifer Jones' last game, right? That's pretty.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I kind of felt the whole time that Homan was going to win it. I actually think she has a really good chance to win Worlds here too.
I mean,
I
I looked last night. She still hasn't lost a game. I mean,
Yeah,
we're going on
I'm
like
not the
months since
expert.
she lost a game.
Yeah, she's at 20 some odd in a row. I just feel it because I'm not a sports expert. I've listened to her on podcasts, and she's a real like fighter, and she had a lot of depression after losing the mixed doubles in the Olympics. And I think it's just a monkey on her shoulder. I think she just came in this year. She got her team together the last 2 years. It looks like she just came in really fired up this year and focused, and I think she's gonna go. I really do.
I have no
So
doubt.
fun.
I have no doubt at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, she. I think she paired up against Constantini in round robin yesterday, and that was kind of the game to watch. And she took her down too. So
Did you watch
um,
it?
I haven't watched anything with the world lately. I
Neither
kind
have
of got
I.
scared off. There was a bunch of streaming issues and stuff early on, and I just
Yeah.
just like I said, curling's been kind of after we unceremoniously just lost our last 2 playoff games. I pivoted back to my family and work. Weird.
As you
So
probably should. That's good.
totally weird.
Oh yeah.
The family one's easy because the wife and kid both curl, so that they're around for all that stuff.
I am looking forward to that day. My first child is 4, and he saw me go to curling the other night, and he's like, "I want to go with you." And I was like, "Buddy, just not yet. All right, you can't shove the rock out just yet, but
Yep.
there will be a day and time for that. Be all right."
Heck yeah. Yeah, it's funny, the parents at the club and the Bonspiels and stuff, we all talk about how we bribe our kids, and it's basically debauchery. It's like, yeah, when you're in these four walls, have as much soda as you want. There's probably 500 cookies over there. Try to put a dent in that. You just sort of make it an undeniably hip place for them.
Just don't bother Daddy while he's playing, and we're fine. Just stay over there.
Yeah, exactly. And no fireball for you. Yeah.
Yeah, probably best not to.
Nice. Well, we should probably give a little attention. This game's heating up here. So fifth end, Red's
Oh,
got hammer. God, you hate that you go up by, you're up 6-2, and to see that lead dwindle. Um,
have
I
you
wish
been there before?
I know. I wish I had more time to show more of your TikToks, because you had that really funny one of that actor. I think his name's Michael Shannon. He's like, I don't know. He's one
Yes.
of those like he's one of those character actors. I can't remember what he's in, but it's him going, "Oh yeah, had a lot of fun." It's like when we you do the handshake after a competitive game and you lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, that one hit home for a lot of people. Pretty
Hey.
relatable content on that one.
Yeah. But yeah, I wonder what these. You talk about these institutional clubs like Bemidji and stuff like that. These guys have probably played each other, 3 dozen times. This guy right here,
For
just
sure.
just look at him. He's just an old salt. He just probably 4'5". He threw that smoking hot double like takeout in the recap. Tips his hat to the
We have a
Angels.
guy like this in our club named Carl. He's 83 years old. Shout out to Carl. Dangerous
Nice.
stick curler. Also, for the record, I did not call this old guy Salt, but Joe did.
Old salt.
The
Kind of
old
like an old
Salt.
sailor. An old salt. Hey man, after I mean, not only did he make that double back in the recap, he didn't touch his on his way by. It was like it was drawn up. It had to be made that way. It was a made shot.
Dude, old guys with sticks are dangerous. Don't ever
Yeah.
let your guard down.
Yeah, I mentioned my 79-year-old teammate. He suffered a heart attack. Shout out to Donnie Boy. Hope you're doing better. Took a year off on doctor's orders. Also stick curler. Ironically, one of the hardest sweepers I've ever played with. He's got
Good
the
for him.
he carries the nitro in his front pocket so that we know where it is, and his other pills. And he's like, and we go, Donnie, chill out, man. It is what it is. Like, and he's like, hell no. Like, we're going all in. He's the hardest sweeper I've ever met.
Does Donnie also keep a little fireball in his pocket, or just the meds?
No, he does.
Okay, good. Good.
He does. It's not usually Fireball. It's some brandy or something. But yeah, he's
I trust this
turn your
guy.
we're not as cool as Lone Star. We can't flaunt our boozing at our arena league. But he's always got something.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's got the fifth of whiskey in one pocket and the nitro in the other. He's an institution. He's an
that's
institution,
awesome.
man. Yeah, he'll be
Donnie.
back next year. To Danny boy.
Yeah, we have gotten away with shots on the ice. Kind of made that happen on Tuesday nights.
Well, if your El Presidente keeps her feet under her, maybe nobody will ever be the wiser.
I have twice as much as she does too.
Yeah,
It is funny though.
you guys have got a great culture, great vibe going down there.
We try to. We try to. It's been a cool club. It's come a long way in the last few years, honestly.
Yeah, so tell me the origin story. I mean, were you part of like the core group of 10 or 20 that kind of got it started, or you just kind of found it the way a
No.
lot of us do?
Yeah, 2018 I found it watching the Olympics. Before the men had won gold, had nothing to do with it. I mean, later it did, but like just started watching it because my wife watches it, and I was like, "This is cool." I bet Austin has this because Austin is weird. And it
Yeah.
did. It was rough back then, though. It was just Sunday mornings at 8:45 in the morning,
Wow.
and you had to like get up early. Sometimes you'd been out with the boys on Saturday night because there were no kids back then. And I always joke there's a secondary game we played that was don't puke on the ice in the morning. We don't do
Nice.
that stuff anymore. Too much responsibilities, but there was a time. There was a
Yeah,
time.
there was well, and not everyone's at the same life stage as you, so there's probably some people down there that are just finding it for the first time, and they're playing a
Yeah,
little game called "Don't Puke on the Ice."
probably. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, back to your question. It started in 2006. Stephen Thorne was a guy from Canada who just wanted to get curling in Texas, and he started it. Long story short, um, have to shout out to him a little bit because he is the founder, but he did pass away a couple of years ago.
Shout out.
So rest in peace, my guy. But he was a legend for starting this club, and it's just kind of grown from there. There is a group of that 5 or 10. There's many are still around, but a lot bigger now.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's our guy at and he's very much still with us. Our shout out to Al Taylor. He's the Grand Poobah, the old man there who just made it happen. He's a longtime St. Paul Curling Club member and just lives near us and was like, hey, like I think this is something we can do out here. And I mean this club is like being built on the backs of him and a few other guys that are just sort of making it happen. And I just can't wait till the moment we've got dedicated ice and we've got our first Bonspiel and we've got that trophy and we know what we're gonna name it. We know exactly what this is all gonna be. We gotta give it back to
yeah.
those guys. So it's cool to be a part of that. We're definitely riding the wave with those guys. Man, this game
It's
is gonna
interesting.
have everything before it's done. They've got a broom stack, they've got the broom drops. I could say with some certainty that they officially measure this one.
We are measuring. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm not paying attention to the game. This is how our live streams go too. I talk to the chat sometimes, and I don't remember that we don't have Hammer or something. So we'll try to get a little commentary on the game here.
Well, that's why I'm sort of and we'll sort of as we let them sort of sort things out, and then when it gets crunch time, we all sort of dial in. But that's why Channel 7 Club Curling, it's a podcast. It's a podcast that's talking
Exactly.
about curling. When and we'll see how well I stick to this. When we're actually commentating on a game, hopefully the ADD medication kicks in and we can stay focused. But
Well, it's about time for it to wear off, I think. So
it's getting serious.
it's later in the day, my man. Okay, so question about this measure. Do you ever do that thing with the broom where you try to see with the broom who's closer? Do that?
Yes, but I did have somebody near and dear to me scold me and say that that was an illegal way of measuring. But I do
It
do that.
probably is. I mean, it probably is illegal if you're going to be official, but for club night,
She cited it. She like recited it like it was. There is no use of artificial means of measurement other than the skip's eyes or the third's eyes. And I was like, oh, I
oh
guess let's go haul this artifact off the wall just to be sure. But yeah,
yeah,
you got to keep it moving, right?
you got to
So
keep the pace going.
for those taking no, the yellow did end up winning that one. But again, shout out to the old Salt who threw that psycho run back to only give up one instead of two. So I like
Indeed.
this guy. I like this guy.
Okay, question since you're on hockey ice and you try to measure. This is our problem. Do you have center holes drilled or marked
We
that you can
don't.
actually put?
No.
Yes,
No.
that's the problem, right?
Yeah. And it's funny because we have a measuring device, but it's basically comes down to the other third's job is to sort of hold it in the spot that
Yep.
we think we both agree it should be, and sort of just be honest that they they think it's there. But it's funny because after because we lay down our paint and then it gets flooded and it's flooded, and maybe this happens at Lone Star. By the end of the season, it's really faded. So
Yep.
it's not even exact where the middle is necessarily. It's kind of
No. We tried putting in like a little orange piece of plastic to mark it. I don't know what happened to that, but you can't see it.
you can't see it.
And,
Yeah.
and the doubles markers have faded so much you can't even find them. You have to like look at the next sheet over, the next markers
Yeah.
over, and try to see where yours is. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's the struggle is real. We'll both get to the promised land. I just know it. We deserve it.
We definitely deserve it.
So if where is the closest dedicated ice to you in Austin? I don't know this geography real well.
That's a really good question. Phoenix or Denver, and I'm trying to think if North Carolina's closer somehow. Good
So the
question.
short answer is nothing. Nothing jumps out at you. Would
No,
you say that
no,
it doesn't even sound like Texas has a single dedicated curling club?
no. It's just Texas. Or Texas. It's just Austin, Houston, and Dallas, and we're all very tight friend clubs, and we go to each other's bonspiels. So
Yeah, that's awesome. How many bonspiels you guys hosting?
nowadays, our club actually hosts two, which is a kind of a new thing in the last 2 years. It used to just always be the Memorial Day spiel, and then now we have one on New Year's Eve.
Oh, that's fun.
My son has joined the chat apparently.
Heck yeah, future curler.
Yeah, he's an animal.
That's awesome.
Okay, this is
Throw him some
the
love.
live
Give him
raw
some
editing.
shine. Yeah.
Okay, go watch your cartoons. Okay, I'll give you a treat if you go watch your cartoons. The log's coming.
Yeah,
That's an inside joke.
the same rules, still apply. Just give him all the soda and cookie he wants right now. This is still kind of curling related, so
Yes, it is.
yeah.
Yes, it is.
Meanwhile, my son is almost 14, and I start this podcast, and I go, it's internet based, and I'm uploading this as we do it, and if he were to go over and do a bunch of stuff, it hurts the podcast. And so, meanwhile,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like
so
gaming or whatever.
so I start my podcast,
Yeah.
and I'm like, quit it. You don't get to do anything fun for the next hour. And he's like,
The Wi-Fi password has changed, boy.
yeah.
2 hours, I'll give it to you.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, yellow scored. Didn't even see that one. Sorry.
They did.
The measure.
That was the measure. Yeah.
Yes.
So, for people that understood what the broomstack did on a league night, you're playing 8 ends. I'm just going to go on a limb and say if you take a 15-minute broomstack, you've deleted an end, maybe 2 here. So, for fans of this game, it's quite possible this could be the last end.
Yeah.
Could be.
You get him out of here. It could be the last day. Do these guys have a 2-hour time limit? That's the real question. Do they have a 2-hour time limit? You grab him. Go.
I mean, if it's anything like my club at Frogtown, the 6 o'clock game, the 6 o'clock game has got like kind of a hard finish. The guys that play at 8:15, I think, nobody's coming on after them. They could probably make it work, but they're getting done at 10:15. I don't think anybody's appetite for like extra ends is really high. So
Right. Yeah.
I think when Yellow made that spectacular, 4 in probably the 4th end there, I think that's when the teams were like, all right, we got a fun game here. Let's see what happens. But I don't get the impression that these guys take it so serious.
No, which is good. I like competitiveness, but I don't like it if you're going home angry. It's no fun.
Terrible feeling. What's your season at Lone Star? Do you guys go well into the spring or?
Yeah, we kind of do it like this. The main leagues, like a Tuesday league, we do like a fall and a winter into spring, right? So that's whatever 3 or 4 months, like September to December, and then January to April or May-ish.
Okay.
And then we have on the other nights, it's sometimes mini leagues, like 4 weeks, just because those are like beginner leagues, a little more rotation stuff like that.
For sure.
And then summer happens, but I take the summers off, and I found it refreshing actually to just have a break from curling a little bit, 2-3 months.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I first got into curling, I saw somebody high performing Canadian say that. Somebody asked him, now that particular season's over, how much are you training? How much are you practicing? And they were just so matter of factly, just like, oh, we don't curl at all in the summer. Probably they're Canadian too. It's the same vibe that is Minnesota. It's like that would be a terrible waste of a summer to be in a windowless curling club.
That is your time to get outside, get the vitamin D, and then you have that 2-month, 3-month window, and it's gone.
Yeah, you got to be like a camel. You got to store it up and get ready for another 9 months of darkness. So
nice little takeout there.
Yeah, I got to protect this.
I actually saw what happened in the game. commentated for once.
You're a natural. We got to get you hooked up with Ty.
So Tyler is awesome. Let's go back to that for a second. What the U.S. is doing with like curling stadium or kind of putting the games on YouTube, that is the way.
Yeah.
Because even though it's not as big, honestly, sitting around and begging TV networks to show curling, if it works, it works, but it probably won't. So you just got to kind of forge your own destiny. So I'm a big fan of it. Huge
I
fan.
am too. I'm too. And any club that's wondering if there's, if an investment is worth it. Um, with Frogtown, we started live streaming our games years ago, and you would go back and watch a game, and you would see 2 or 3 views, and now you go back and watch a game. It could be any game. It could be a Wednesday, Sheet C, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's got 40, 50 views, and it's
Yeah.
kind of becoming normal to see that. And then you'll see maybe two really good teams are playing each other, or maybe there's some interest, some rivalry there. You'll see a game, just a random game with 200 views,
Yep.
and you add that up for the 8 or the 12 games on any given night, and you're starting to talk about like real numbers.
Yeah.
And then there's stuff like this is made possible. Imagine what your social media, you already invest so much time into your social media, and you're manually filming everything. If you were able to just sort of grab stuff like this, and you would be able to share it
Yep.
more often and even wider. So it's any club that's wondering if investing in this stuff is worth it. It's if you want to grow the game and keep your club, full of people, I think it is.
Yeah. The really weird thing, kind of going into YouTube, learning about it is they are trying to compete with TikTok. Like you doom scrolling and you see something like a
Sure.
live. And so since I do mine from the phone, it's vertical. And
Hmm.
they actually put in the app, like if you film in vertical, we're going to show it to more people.
Yep.
And so it's weird because you do like our last game got 1,000 views on after it was done filming 2 hours in. But it's weird because the nicer setups like curling stadium or whatever, really they are better in horizontal. But now YouTube's not going to show that in the doom scrolling feed, and I don't really know what to do about that. Like, I mean, kind of sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you've got it figured out. I mean, there aren't too many American social media curling channels that are putting up your kind of numbers. So, um, do whatever is working for you. You know,
Yeah, I mean, I really like the quality and the commentating. What I would hope is that I'm going to put my little opinion out here on this. I would hope that the next phase is like when they have the events, they have like 4 sheet coverage, which is awesome. Like one sheet has Tyler George, right, and the other sheets are just there but no audio.
yeah,
It would be cool if they just put mics on people.
yeah,
You don't have to have a guy running a soundboard, nothing. Just put the mics on and walk away and go focus on that TV sheet.
I
Just
agree.
put a little audio on that. Yeah, it'd be awesome.
I think that would be. I mean, I'm starting to just through this kind of stuff. I've gotten to know some of these players, and man, they have a really open mind about this kind of stuff. I think they've probably experienced what you were describing, like begging TV to cover this, and just
Yeah.
at some point realizing like, we can either and there sounds like there's some big things coming up
What's
for
that CBS thing? Everest, right?
oh yeah, the
Yeah, yeah.
that'll be cool. During the I think it was the men's USA men's, like Randy Furby was on being interviewed like at the fifth end break or something, and he was talking about like a club curling show, and the way he made it sound like was it I don't think it was solely Canadian, but I think it was a Canadian US. Who knows? Maybe it's at a point where people can find it. But if they're actually going to go to these clubs that have competitive leagues and feature, they might even be doing like what we're doing, just like
Oh, cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
and actually put in like each week they go to a new thing. I mean, how cool would that be? Like
that'd be awesome.
just
Yeah,
to see like, and because what we could start to build from that is we could start to build circuits, and these regions can start to have teams represented. We could start to look more like the provincials in Canada, because right now it's so
yep,
loosey goosey. We don't have a clear path for teams on how they want to get to the championship, and So we see a lot of the same teams, and so you know, the Canadian model is successful. I think we should try to mimic it in some way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even if the team isn't a top team, you just see the stories of how they got there. Like, a Jamie Cooey making it into the playoffs, right?
That was
And
awesome. Yeah.
how hard he's fought for that, or like Team Alberta in the Scotties just having an unbelievable run.
Yeah, like
Oh
no,
yeah,
that's a great point. Like the Briars and the Scotties, the way that the provinces are guaranteed a spot, they make for this cool narrative. Like Rizzo and Galusha, like Rizzo's last shot of what apparently is going to be her last Scotties. Maybe you saw this one, was like this bananas corner in off double thing to sit one,
yeah,
and it was like, all right, now I'm done, folks. And anytime the provinces and the territory or the northern territories and Nunavut and all of them are, it's so cool that they get to experience. It would be no different if we have a Corey Dropkin or a Schuster representing Minnesota or Duluth goes and takes on somebody, and like maybe the region is larger in the southeast America, and it encompasses Georgia and Florida and Carolinas. But you're going to get these games where some scrappy squad from Charlotte takes on a Schuster or Dropkin and puts up a good game,
yep.
and it's going to be so cool to watch. Like it's all about money, and I don't envy these guys who have to try to figure this out, but I think
No,
Curling Stadium is making it making it obvious that at the end of the day, curlers, we have a sport that doesn't need a ton. And we'll shut up here when this guy throws hammer and shocks the world. I mean, he's an old salt. He's got this in his back pocket.
let's see the old salt work its magic.
I bet you this guy in a previous life was like an engineer or something, or like a boiler maker, and he could like make it with his hands and he didn't need to measure stuff. I got this guy's whole look at how just so
Yeah, he
casual, so
is.
modest.
You know when someone tries to argue with that guy, they're like, "Well, what about a little more ice?" He's like, "No, don't give me the more ice. No, you just
Yeah.
keep the broom right there, son."
You got a flat spot there. It's been flat since 1972. It's gonna run straight. These guys don't
That
even
was
know.
like the first time I didn't know who Wayne Madaw was till like last year when he showed up in the Briar. Speaking of like stories and characters,
Yeah.
and that was one of my favorite things about him. He just would be on the ice and he was so casual, like he had that old experience, and he's just like, "No, this will be all right. Just throw it right here." And
Yeah.
funny guy.
That's
All
awesome.
right, bombs away.
Ran straight.
Well, that's that.
I got a tough job. I know how these games end, but I got to keep it interesting.
Did you just zoom to the end, or did you actually go through and look at each piece?
I don't
How much do you know?
I usually just know how it ends, and I don't even
Okay.
really dwell on it, but I'll go to the end, and kind of like now where you'll see the club scoreboard up there.
Yeah.
Any curler that knows how to run a scoreboard, I can pause it there, and then those little graphics that I put up in the top left corner, just from looking at that picture, I know what the score is and who has hammer at any given moment, so I can put those in there. I don't see a lot of shots. This game was so interesting with the broom stack and stuff. I wanted you to be the guest on this game because it was fun.
Yeah.
And it was like, these guys are just kind of just classic curler dudes, and you kind of are the epitome of that. You just found this game in the last 6 years, and you've just like it's become a huge part of your life, right? I mean, that's not
Yeah.
an understatement, is it?
For better or for worse, magically, yes. It
For better
has.
or for worse. Yeah. So I had this game sort of like set aside, and I was like, I'm going to talk to Brian, and we're going to talk about this game. And so I maybe
Awesome.
chopped up a little bit more and saw a little bit more than usual, but I hope I
Oh,
didn't
good.
spoil anything too bad.
No, there were no spoilers. I felt adequately surprised by the
I think if
outcome.
anybody's watching this podcast and like expecting the game to be like the primary focus and those people have gone. They tried it.
No.
They said all he does is just talk to people, and there's a game in the background, and that might be all this is. Maybe we just
That's
own
all our
that.
live streams are. We literally talk about like candies
Yeah.
during the game on the microphone. We're talking about candies, and someone's making a triple takeout. We don't even know.
We're curlers in Austin. Of course we rack our rocks before and after the game.
We're curlers in Austin. Of course we stuff our pockets with high shoes.
We're curlers in Austin. Of course we take shots before the game.
We're curlers in Austin. Of course we stand on our hacks to hold them in place while they freeze.
We're curlers in Austin. Of course, I'm going to fill the square jar by the end of the first in.
We're curlers in Austin. Of course we're beating everybody with our data ins.
Gotta get around that guy.
Old unrefrigerated pie.
I think the coach is
Long ways to drive.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. I didn't do fucking shit.
Oh shit! You got the kid in the room. I'm sorry. Kid.
Oh no, they're gone. We pushed them out. Don't worry. Cleared
Oh.
those kids out.
I gotta put something in the swear jar here. Thanks, Brian. Well, I really appreciate it. Like I said, this is probably the finale. So you're
Okay.
you're coming out on the big extravaganza episode.
Way to finish on a low note with me, my guy.
Yeah, we're gonna go big. So, this kind of was born out of like Christmas break, just kind of like, hey, we should do a podcast. And then it was like, wow, the season's half over. Let's just not even like, ignore the fact that it's going to be a short season. So 5 episodes is kind of what I was hoping for. That's what I landed on
Okay.
today. Next season, 5 before Christmas, 5 after Christmas. All the first 5 guests have a mandatory repeat next year. So you
Oh, really?
have to do it.
That wasn't in my contract, I don't think.
And I'm sure I'm going to lose the rights to that funky song that brings us in and out of every episode. So, but I see those guitars back there. Maybe that's something we can contract with you.
That's a hobby that didn't take off. Let's put it that way. Working on it still. I swear.
It's cool, man. Well, if people didn't catch it, you're at Curl Hand Luke. Is that where people find you on YouTube? I seem to find you every time I look. Also
Everywhere except for Twitter, because some kid took it and I didn't think to open up a Twitter account.
Yeah, you're not missing much. Another place that people can find you, where I seem to find you a lot, is in the comment section of TSN Canadian Curling. And then there's those nerds off to the side, and I could say that because I'm one of them. And then I'll just see Curl Hand Luke. You're like,
last time there was a game where we were just chatting. I thought we were having a friendly chat, and one of the guys was like, "Well, you're in here debating us all game." And I was like, I didn't feel like this was a debate. I felt like we were just bouncing ideas off each other. Okay.
it gets a little heated in the chat, huh?
I guess. But I do want to say something to you, Joe, before we get out of here. I like what you're doing here. I think that there's a lot of curling podcasts at the higher level already, and a lot of coverage, and even new ones. There's a couple new ones coming out. I just saw, but I think part of this whole like building up the U.S. curling and elsewhere, anywhere, but like U.S. curling and getting more attention and things that have emerged on our side of things, like the 5U circuit and how strong that's been, how competitive. I think there's room for a podcast like this where you're more club centric, and you can have famous people on here, but you don't need to. You can just get normie people like us.
Yeah.
And this becomes a thing that other people enjoy because it's not a professional talking, right?
Oh, we are analog. We are.
Yeah.
I always joke about that. We have no production value. The 10 minutes I spent putting together these graphics and stuff back in December, they'll probably be the graphics that we retire with, in 3 years when it becomes.
At least you have graphics,
We do. I mean, look at this. Look at my background here. This is all great.
AI and Canva can do marvelous things.
As a quick aside, back to how I think like curling stadium and stuff like that is going to save us. I'm going to throw this game back up just in the sense that I think it'll sort of illustrate what we're talking about. I think that this game is ripe for kind of an AI system to come in and be able to make certain assumptions as to which side of the ice is the house at any given end, who's throwing, and I wouldn't be surprised. And they have 4 cameras. I think we're
Yeah.
5 years away from getting almost like TV production style, where the TSN formula, for people who ever have wondered how does TSN cover a curling game, it's pretty simple. They have these 4 cameras, relatively stationary, and then they have somebody programming and directing and switching between them all. I wouldn't be surprised if 5 years from now we're able to get a system where the person is sliding out of the hack, that camera's on them, it leaves their hand, we go to this camera, and then we click to the other and we see it in the house, and that can sort of be a seamless thing too. So I do think that technology is going to be a way that we can like bring curling to people. Just we're going to cast a bigger net, and the television networks can go to hell because we don't need them.
Yeah.
Like we're going to do this on our own. We're all fanatical about it, and
Yep.
we'll just think our way out of this problem. I think that's my hope, at least.
I agree. I think that YouTube and how much is happening with streaming content production. Yeah, everything you said. Just double down on it.
It's awesome, man. Well, I'm in awe of what you've built over at Curl Hand Luke. You guys are
We're trying.
and Lone Star. You're taking an arena. You're exactly what you just said. You're taking an arena league in a state that doesn't even have a curling club, a dedicated ice curling club, and you've become the largest social media presence for our game in the country.
Which is
Is it?
frightening.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have happened. Probably shouldn't
Yeah.
have happened to me, but it did happen somehow.
It did happen
So
to you. Well, with
you
great
don't
power
get to
comes
pick.
great responsibility. So
Yeah, kids are back.
see you, little buddy. See you, future curler.
Future curler right there.
That's awesome. Well, I really like this. I like getting to know you, and obviously you've got some cartoons to go watch, so I'm gonna let you go. But come back next season.
I will. I will try to have meaningful content. I won't talk as smooth as Tyler George, but I'll be there.
Hey, man, that guy's got the silver tongue. That's tough to duplicate. Cool, man.
He could read the phone book, and I could
He
listen.
I know. He was just at Frogtown. He's dreamy too. He's the total package. Okay, buddy. Well, I'm gonna let you go. And for viewers, keep an eye to this page. I'll keep everyone updated. But this might be the end for the season. But we'll be back in the fall, season 2, Channel 7 Club Curling. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir.